A New York artist by the name of Michael D'Antuono has created a painting called The Truth, and it is depicting Obama in a certain way. And when the announcement hit the press, the flack that this guy got for this painting was so intense and so large that he chose to, instead of unveiling the painting in Union Square in a voting booth today, on the 100th day of Obama's administration, he is going to do it here. Now, as I said, this was supposed to happen outside, but there was so much bad. There was email flack. There was some protests planned. I mean, this guy got a lot of shit for what he was about to do, and he chose not to do it. And we'll talk to him in just a second. You know what? Let's talk to him now. Please welcome to the show, Michael D'Antuono. Nice to see you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Now, let me understand correctly. You put out an announcement that you were going to unveil this painting in Union Square as a presentation to honor Obama's 100th day in office, and they showed an image of your painting in the paper, and you started getting the emails.
Yeah.
How many did you get?
I got over 3,000 so far.
3,000 emails.
Yeah, and they're streaming in, but I did invite people's reactions,
right,
too, on my website.
Now, what was the tone of most of the emails?
Well, that's just it. That's the reason why I canceled the event today, is because the overwhelming 98% were very upset on a religious level, and they were calling it blasphemy. And I mean, I don't apologize for showing it, creating it, and showing it, but I really didn't mean to disrespect people's religion. It's meant as a political piece. Right,
but now let me ask you just the first question comes to my mind. Why didn't you do it anyway?
Well, out of respect, because thousands of emails, you get lots of different opinions.
Were you afraid that they were going to show up and protest you?
I'm sure they were going to show up. And I mean, when we canceled it, the Parks Department said they were bombarded with requests and demands that I not be allowed to show it.
So your personal email was bombarded and the Parks Department was bombarded?
Yes.
That is unbelievable, the way that certain religious organizations so immediately can come together and be closed-minded at the same time. Now, that is just my opinion. Now, I'm going to let you guys decide for yourself. We are going to unveil the painting. It is called Truth. It has never been seen in public before, and we're going to do it here now. We've got it right here. Brendan's going to remove the veil. Now, this is obviously a depiction of Obama. There's no denying that it is suggestive of Jesus, given the thorn crown. He is not quite crucified. He has his arms outstretched in front of the presidential seal, and he's opening the curtains. There's a couple of things that happened to me immediately upon viewing the painting, Michael. One is the crucifixion is implied because of the thorns, but the arms outreaching the curtain is more of a show business thing to me. He's like, ta-da! There's a little of that going on, yeah. But there's also the crucifixion and the crown of thorns, and then the presidential seal. What were your intentions? Because this is it's not done in elephant poop. It's not floating in pee.
No.
There is religious iconography, but it is graphic. It is in the realist school of painting. It is almost it could be on a magazine cover. What were your intentions?
This was like almost a sociological experiment. Not really experiment, but I wanted to show how everybody's interpretations of the truth are so shaped by their political view. I mean, it's purely a political piece, and the religious aspects are metaphoric and symbolic.
Right. Well, I mean, but it is what it is in the sense that it obviously a political piece because it's the president of the United States. It's a presidential seal. It is Barack Obama. Right. But as soon as you put a crown of thorns on anybody,
I'm not suggesting
then it's loaded.
Yeah, it's loaded. But and if religion is 90% of your life, then you're going to see 90% religion in this.
Well, there's no way not to see religion. I mean, we got to be honest, right? I mean, on some level, the metaphor you were using was a religious metaphor.
Well, is he being? I mean, people have asked, is he being crucified by the right?
Right.
Or is it making fun of the people who feel that he's our savior?
Right.
And he's gonna save our country? I mean, is it satire or not? I'm not saying, I'm not.
You're not going to tell me what your intentions.
I'm sorry. No, not today. No.
But
because the whole point is really it's not about Barack, and it's certainly. Well, it's not comparing him to Jesus literally at all. And I'm not
the first to do that.
I'm not doing it.
But I think that the
what
piece
it
calls for that.
Is that it's about the reaction. And I had anticipated the reaction to be about many other things. But the people who only wrote in on a religious basis, calling it blasphemy.
And saying, like, what else? You're going to go to hell? How could you?
Absolutely. I mean, 90% of them.
Calling you names.
Yeah, yes, more than my wife.
Oh, your wife too?
Yeah.
That's good and Christian to not only slander you but your wife.
Well, no.
You follow one commandment.
They called me more names than my wife does.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. So they didn't bring your family into it, just you.
Not so much, right?
Not so much.
It's all about me.
Well, it's interesting because it's provocative to a degree, and like, you know, the more I look at it and the more I think about it, I mean, the idea that this president, in my mind, the only thing that it resonates to me in terms of using the religious metaphor is that this guy came in with the country in such a condition that, you know, all odds were stacked against him, despite the Republicans. So on some level, he is bearing the burden of a fairly, you know, a totally reprehensible administration that bankrupt this country. So on the level of that, in honoring Obama by portraying him as a Jesus-like figure who has to carry the cross of the mistakes that came before him, I can see that. And that's the way I'll choose to read it.
And it's a valid interpretation. But there are many. It's not the only interpretation.
Yeah, in terms of the Republicans crucifying him, it's too early to tell. You know, they're trying, but it ain't sticking.
Right.
And in terms of like the show business element, that, you know, the curtains, the way he's holding the curtains, because at first I thought, like, well, is he really being crucified? You know, I haven't seen any reality of that yet, but I do, like, there's a certain pride. It's not quite a crucified stature. It's a little higher in my mind, and because he's got the curtains, it seems that he's willing to, he's up for the task of carrying the burden of the mistakes that were made before him, and he has some humility. See, on some level, as opposed to interpret this as some sort of blasphemy, which I think on some people, you know, because it's Barack Obama and not Jesus, they're going to interpret that like that. Why don't they look at it as something honoring the idea of Jesus?
I wonder why not. That's a very good question. Why my email wasn't more balanced? And I mean, there's 1,000 interpretations you can have from this, and why 90.
What were some of the good emails you got?
Well, people understood, had other interpretations where he's lifting the black veil over the presidency, where he's creating transparency in government. Other people said that maybe he's closing the curtain and he's governing all by himself, shutting out, you know, the conservatives.
So people went to town with it.
Oh, there's many other, you know, they noticed that he had a smirk and they thought, what's that about? He's being crucified, but he wants to be.
I'll tell you one thing about using religious iconography in contemporary pieces of art is that you'll get people that usually would never look at art to lock right in and start to read it the way they want to read it. So I think that the controversy around it is certainly going to bring more people to it, because I guarantee you 99% of the people that wrote you negative emails have never been to the Museum of Modern Art.
I don't know. I didn't ask them that.
No, but I mean, I'm just willing to wager.
Well, it could be.
That reaction on the level that you get like this are not from people that have any real notion or understanding of art, but people that just react to the idea that their God is being made fun of.
That's the first thing that came to those people who wrote me. I'm sure that there are at least an equal amount of people who had other ideas and other interpretations, and I heard from them later.
Have you done this type of art before? Have you ever done a quote-unquote controversial piece of art?
No, I haven't been a controversial artist at all. I just see the great political divide in this country, and it upsets me. And I think it's largely manipulated by the media. I think our views are based on where we get our news. And,
well, I'll tell you what you ended up doing is you ended up upsetting the people that are going to be upset no matter what, whether Obama does anything good or not. I think that most of the people that probably had a negative reaction to this are not Obama fans.
And that's the point of the painting is, they weren't. And that's the point of the painting that you're bringing to, it's what you bring to the painting. Right. It's not what I'm saying. It's what you're prejudiced by your political views of what you see in this painting. And I was proven right by the reaction to a large degree.
See, I'm the kind of guy, like I say, push it even further. I'm sort of sad it's not made out of elephant poop or floating in pee.
Well, that's messy to work with. It is. But so out of respect for the religion, because the religious element wasn't really my intent, believe it or not. I know I see this. It's symbolism. So I didn't want to, I didn't want to hurt people like that. So politically, I don't mind so much, but I didn't want to. But I'd be open for like a museum to show it in a museum or a gallery, but not the public place like at the park.
So you sort of you buckle to the feelings that you have for people that are believers, that you're not seeing yourself as necessarily cowarding or running away from anything, but you honestly in your heart did not want to cause grief to people that believe in Jesus.
Well, you know, I was overwhelmed with the grief. With their grief, and I felt bad.
You had no idea that was going to happen.
No.
That's interesting. They're very sensitive, you know.
Apparently so. Why didn't you tell me that before?
Well, it's always been my belief that what they should be doing instead of stopping you from engaging in your First Amendment freedom to show art is maybe pray for your soul and hope to hell that you figure out your way back. That's it.
A lot of people did pray for my soul.
They did?
Yes, indeed.
They emailed you that?
Oh, absolutely. And from the bottom of their heart. Some did and some
Well, those are the good ones. Those are the good ones.
Yes, they were.
Well, I certainly, Michael D'Antuono, I really want to thank you for sharing this and letting us witness the event that is not being witnessed in a public park. And where can people see the painting? Do you have a website or something that they can go to?
Well, I do. Well, it's all over the internet. It's the most downloaded.
Glenn Beck.
Where can you not see it?
I wish we had that Glenn Beck footage because I hate him, and I wish I would have heard what he had to say.
Be honest.
I hate him more than you can even imagine.
Just say what you feel.
I'd like to see him crucified without the religious symbolism. But so they can see it on the internet somewhere. Just
Everywhere.
Look up The Truth or Obama Jesus. Or there's your statement. Is that on the internet? That's from his website.
That's right.
That's his statement about the piece of art. Thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate it.
It was great talking to you. Do you feel well represented here?
I do.